Hey, what's up guys? This is Derek with DRZA Auto. Behind me it's a 73 240Z that we've had the privilege of building. Was one of our favorite builds, but very challenging build. So come check it out. So as you would notice right away that it does have an aftermarket lift on there. We're going for kind of a factory look, which contradicts what I just said. But it needs to be looking like a factory car, but have some go at it. So it also have the JDM front rear view mirrors on there, which is a little bit challenging to drive, but once you get accustomed to it, it is actually fun. I know what you guys want. You want to see what's under this thing. So we've fitted this thing with an RB25 top mount turbo, all of custom hot pipe and cold side pipe on there. We used an ISR intake manifold, bigger injectors, custom fan shroud and stuff like that. There's a lot of things that was custom made for this car that's in-house. Rita actually cut a lot of this stuff up and I welded. We've had the brake booster reconditioned and stuff like that. The engine bay was rusted before and had a lot of chips and peels, layers of, over the years, people can bombing. So we didn't want to go through and clean the whole entire engine bay and just make it like fancy new. Want to have some of the little vintage looks to it to age it a little bit. But it was sanded down and prepped for the rust and cleaned all the rust out and stuff like that. But we did not take care, as you could see here, we have a little bit of rust on both sides and we kind of left it there. Strut towers and stuff like that was in good shape, which lots of these guys, strut towers, they damage and they rust out. Thank God this one was in fantastic shape. So we just, like we said, treated what we needed to in the engine bay, sanded down, and then got it repainted. And it's been like this for a number of years. Like for instance, we've kept the original chassis badge and stuff like that. We make sure that it's not taken out and thrown away. I think those are pretty cool things that that shows the character of this car. Originally, when this car came to us, it was not fitted with an RB. It was fitted with a Q45 that was literally, you can't close the hood. The transmission was hanging and dragging on the ground. And I looked at myself and I'm like, oh, this is gonna be a nightmare, which it was. And the customer wanted AC. So like, there's no way that we could actually fit this engine in this vehicle and have AC, because we had a ½ inch on both sides where the engine sat on the rail. I was like, we can't have it. And then we went back and forth in terms of what kind of power plant. And I'm like, oh, listen, I love RBs, love the sound of them. Let's try an RB. So then he did some research and he's like, okay, I'm gonna go with your pick. So like everything else, what we did with the exterior of the car was an OEM Plus, and the same thing, we kept the engine to an OEM Plus. It's a stock engine, but it has upgrades with the intake manifold, turbo manifold, and the top mount. So everything is pretty much on an OEM Plus scale on this car. So we took this car to the dyno. It was fun. It made the power that we were looking for. So this car lives out of state. So we want to make sure everything is perfectly done and everything works the way it should before we send this car back to its owner. All right, now that we're underneath the car, we could take a look and see all the goodies that it have underneath. We've got the intercooler, a thicker radiator on there, custom fan shroud, which we made in-house. Still running a fan clutch. I don't really like to use electric fans on these. I think that it cools better with the fan clutch and more consistently. So we kept that. This car is equipped with AC. We've got the RB25 AC compressor and a vintage air setup that's under the dash. So what we've used on the front of this car is the 4-piston calipers out of a Toyota 4Runner. These work really well and they have pretty much bolt-on fitment on these cars. So This was a pretty good and inexpensive versus going with an aftermarket setup. Sway bars from most of the suspension stuff we've gotten from the T3 Techno Toy guys, and they work great, so I love them. Coilovers and all of that stuff, and the spindle setup is from them. It's been on here for a little while. We've also made the engine mounts and the brackets for it. We didn't get any bought from any place. Custom oil pan for this RB because we were having issues with the, as you know, anyone familiar with RBs, the pan assembly is in the front. So we had to move this back to the rear. We've relocated the pickup tube and all of that stuff to fit on here, and it is a 6.5 quart oil pan now. So we give it a little bit more oil in there. We didn't do too much to the tunnel. We have 3-inch oval exhaust from the turbo back all the way out. Transmission mount was made for this also. So we've got quite a bit of stuff that was done here. Same thing with the one-piece dry shaft, which is a short piece. We've used quite a bit of T3 suspension on this car. We've got this whole link system set up with their sway bars and all of that. And it feels amazing when you're driving this car. We've got a R200 limited slip in here. Our fuel system, we've got our fuel filter that's coming off of the tank in here that cleans our fuel, so we don't have any issues with our fuel getting contaminated or any debris getting into those nice injectors. We've used S13 axles, but we cut them down to fit because we had, I think it was 1.5 inches on each side that we cut down. I don't remember, it's been a while. S13 rear calipers that's on this thing. The tank, we had so much rust inside, like typical with any one of these cars. We've went through, cleaned them out. We didn't get them. We ended up replacing the tank. And it kept leaking because of some stitch weldings. We got those fixed, and it's been holding up pretty good for us. All right, guys, that's the undercarriage of the car. Let's go check out the interior and around the car. We've got some customized work wheel that was made specifically for this car. We had to give work all the specs in terms of how the fitment we wanted, and there was tons of measurements back and forth for quite a while before we could get this made for this vehicle. We had the door cards redone to leather and all the handles and everything wrapped over. We have the stock seats, which is in great condition. Still, we have the OEM wood steering wheel, not the leather one. We did have the dash, get the dash cover on there because the dash, as always with these things, they crack. What we did, we retrofitted the car with some odometer gauges sitting back there, and they're in the original hole. What you got, the water, the oil, and the fuel gauge. It has USB, Bluetooth, all of that stuff. Has a modern day radio, but it looks like an old radio. All of our duckings and stuff like that was redone. Still have the OEM type shift knob. And we've wrapped these, instead of the plastic, the vinyl, we just had these wrapped in leather to give it that cleaner, nicer look, because they're faded. We didn't want to just get them repainted or anything like that. All right, moving on to the trunk area. We just made a little bit of space in here. We have our 2 kicker amplifiers, 10-inch subwoofer with some kicker surround sound in there to give you some nice music. Under here we have our Aeromotive electronic fuel pump setup, and it just gets covered back up. Nice access to it. It's nice and clean. We've added some LEDs to give you that nice red reflection in here.
Every day.
Every day. Let us know what you think about this build. What other builds that you would like for us to put out there and show you guys how we do it and what we do with them. And please like and subscribe. And see you on the next one. Thank you.